All right. So we are back this week. Just before we start, if you guys need a place to bet, BetUS, promo code Iceman. I've seen some of you guys making some heavy money on that site. And if you guys noticed recently, they were giving out $500 bonuses to everyone on BetUS. So it was like a free $500 bet, I think. So if you bet 500, they were just giving a free bet, and if you lost it they would refund you the 500, which is insane because I don't know any other gambling site that's giving you free $500 bets. That's BetUS, promo code Iceman. They're doing the damn thing. So last weekend we had the Holly Holm card. It was just a shit card, so I didn't even waste my time with it. The only good fight on that card was not even supposed to be on that card, was the Jack Della Maddalena fight. Showed some holes in his game. But maybe that guy he went against is really good. You hear what a lot of other people say about him. His ground game's insane. He had a couple really tight guillotines to Jack Della Maddalena, and that boy just used that to get on top and crush. If this was the old scoring system, he probably would have won the fight. But since it was based on damage, they gave it to Jack as well as it should be. But we'll see. A lot of people thought they shouldn't have gave it to him, but it was tight. But I had Jack winning just because of the damage, right? And the new scoring system, they're leaning more towards damage, but sometimes damage can be subjective because some people wear damage better than others. But this weekend we got an early morning one in London. Early morning for you folks on the West Coast. Tom Aspinall's back against Marcin Tybura. Tom Aspinall, he came into the UFC hot and he just finishing people. And then he ran into Curtis Blades and injured his knee like 10 seconds into the fight and didn't really get to see him against a top flight heavyweight. I mean, the best heavyweight he's fought was Volkov, and he just crushed Volkov, took Volkov down and submitted Volkov. But after that, Curtis Blades, I wanted to really see how Tybura is going to handle Tom Aspinall, because Tom Aspinall is good everywhere, man. And the thing with Marcin Tybura, he's been on a roll lately, man. He's coming off a win over Romanov, a win over Ivanov. He's got some good wins. Thing is, he's taking on Tom Aspinall in his hometown. Let's see, how they match up is if this fight goes to the ground, Tom Aspinall is going to dominate the ground. He's a high-level black belt. That being said, if this fight stays on the feet, we don't know, because on paper, I would say, and even skill for skill, I'm leaning towards Tom Aspinall, but how is he going to deal with that knee injury, the leg kicks, all that stuff? So the game plan, in my opinion, for Tom Aspinall has got to be take Marcin Tybura down, which is going to be hard to do. Don't get me wrong. And yeah, try to work his ground game, same way he did to Volkov, right? He just crushed Volkov. Same with Spivak, right? The elbow strike just finished him. But let's see. We'll see. Tybura's no joke. He's coming off 2 wins. He's a big boy, hard to take down. And if he can keep it standing, he's got a chance. And these odds are huge. On my website, at last checked, it was minus 500 for Aspinall. Here they have minus 450. That's a big favorite. Huge favorite. So they expect him to go out in his hometown and just crush Marcin Tybura, and I think he probably will do that. I don't think he's going to play too much in the striking department. Look at the age here, 30 years old for Aspinall, 37 for Tybura. Not too old, but he's getting to that 40-year-old range. Significant strikes. Tom Aspinall is much more active. Takedown average, much higher. And takedown accuracy, 100% takedown accuracy at heavyweight. So no one's actually ever stopped any of his takedowns. He's got 100% of them. And we'll see, because Tybura's got some decent takedown defense. Molly McCann takes on this girl. I think they're just feeding Molly an easy fight. They gave her a tough fight last time out, right? So I think they'll just feed her one. So I'll take Molly McCann in that one. Nathaniel Wood takes on Andre Feely. Nathaniel Wood, he had that horrible performance against Casey Kenny, and he came back against Charles Rosa and Charles Jourdain and looked really good. Won 2 unanimous decisions. yeah, I mean, Nathaniel Woods for real. He's got a good record. His only losses in the UFC was to Dodson and Kenny, right? So yeah, I think Nathaniel Wood, Andre Fili's he's experienced though, man. This guy's been in there with a lot of good guys. His last time out, he beat Bill Algeo, has a split decision over Charles Jourdain. The smart decision in this fight, I'd probably take this fight to go the distance. Nathaniel Wood, he might have a hard time striking with Fili though. Fili's much taller, much longer reach, and I don't know if the ground game's going to come into this one, but I think that both these guys are probably going to strike it out. Who am I leaning towards? I'm leaning towards over 2.5 rounds. That's what I'm leaning towards. I'll take the decision in this one. Now, this fight I'm actually looking forward to because I'm a jiu-jitsu guy and I love Paul Craig. No matter what people say about him, that guy, he can get his ass kicked for 5 rounds and come back and triangle you off his back. Look what he did to Magomed Ankalaev. Look what he did to Jamal Hill. Who's the current like those are top guys. Jamal Hill was the champ. Obviously, he relinquished the title, but he was the champ of that division. Magomed Ankalaev, that guy's top 2, top 3 in light heavyweight right now, and he submitted both those guys. So this guy can get submissions out of nowhere. Look what he did to Krylov. He was eating some heavy shots, locked up a triangle off his back. And Andre Muniz will play that game. That's the thing. He will take Paul Craig down. Most people who fight Paul Craig, they don't really want to take him down anymore. They're like, yeah, this guy's got that triangle and he's got some subs off his back. But Andre Muniz, he's a jiu-jitsu guy, right? He submitted Jacare Souza, submitted Eric Anders, right? This fight can go either way, and the only real concern I have is if Paul Craig's able to make the weight, because this is Paul Craig's first time, I think, in the UFC fighting at middleweight. I'm not sure if he used to early on in his career, but first time fighting at middleweight, and you're taking on Andre Muniz, another jiu-jitsu guy. Great matchup. Man, I like Paul Craig, man. I like Paul Craig. I don't know though. I don't really want to bet him because I want to see him at the weigh-in first. I'll see. Let me know. I'll let you know after the weigh-in. If he weighs in, looks good, I might lean towards Paul Craig in this one. If he weighs in and he looks like he's gonna die, then maybe not, because I thought he was a pretty big guy at 205. He's like 6'3", 205, but now he's cutting to 185. I don't know. I'm interested to see. Andre Muniz is a monster, man, on the ground. All right, next up we got Jai Herbert against Fariz Yam. Jai Herbert, he had a really good fight against Topuria. Actually rocked Topuria with a knee. And I was like, oh my God, was he going to finish Topuria? But Topuria was able to come back in the second round and drop a bomb on him and, knocked him out. But his last fight came back strong, beat Kyle Nelson. Good fight. And had a draw against Klein. And now he's taking on Fariz Zayam. 26-year-old, the smile killer. He got crushed by Terrence McKinney 2 fights ago. But then his last fight, he fought an undefeated guy, Polish dude, and just looked really, really good. Won a unanimous decision. Yeah, to be honest, I'm leaning towards Jai Herbert on this one. I know he's an underdog in this one, but I'm gonna go with the underdog, and I think just the experience. I think he's just fought better guys. Being in there with a guy like Topuria, he's probably number 2, 3 at featherweight right now, but now he's moving up, which is I think a smart decision for Jai Herbert moving up in weight. I think he's going to look much better at 155 than he was at 145. I think he was just cutting too much weight. He's a big boy, so I'm going to go with the underdog actually on this one. I'm going with Jai Herbert. Yeah, I'll take Herbert on that one. Up next, Lerone Murphy takes on Josh Kulibau. Why is this fight so far down? I mean, this probably should be in there near the co-main for Molly McCann. I don't know why Molly McCann and the other girl are in the co-main. It's just weird. The skill level is just, I get it though. It's in England. She's got a big name. Patty the Baddie's gonna be there cheering and shit. Big whoop. All right, Lerone Murphy takes on Josh Cleobow, and a lot of people were surprised because undefeated Lerone Murphy, and he's only minus 150. That shows you what they think about Josh Cleobow. Josh Cleobow is for real. So Lerone Murphy, he's been flawless pretty much. His last fight, he did win a split decision over Gabriel Santos, but flawless, undefeated right now. Beat Ricardo Ramos, which was pretty impressive. Beat Gabriel Santos, a split decision. Now he's taking on Josh Cleobow. Josh Cleobow had, he was looking flawless in his MMA career till he ran into Jalen Turner. Got finished by Jalen Turner, but then, coming off 3 straight wins, in his last one, he submitted that Bogdasarian guy. This fight, I think this fight's going to go to a decision, in my opinion. And I'm leaning towards Lerone Murphy, but don't be surprised if Cleobow is he can pull it out. This fight, in my opinion, is probably going to go to decision. It's going to be a war, and it's going to be a very close fight, in my opinion. I'd be surprised if any of those guys get finished. Up next, Davy Grant. Dangerous Davy Grant coming off 2 straight wins, one over Sunsao Smolka, who's looking good. And he even had a great match with Adrian Yanez. A lot of people thought he beat Adrian Yanez. And he's a slight underdog against Daniel Marcos. Now, Daniel Marcos, I think he's only fought in the UFC one time against Simon Oliveira. He had one fight on the Contender Series. Haven't seen too much of him. Obviously, they seem, they think he's for real because he's going against Davy Grant. But to be honest, I think I'm going to go with the underdog on this one. I'm going to go with Davy Grant. I think the experience, he's fought much better top flight competition. Even that match with Adrian Yanez really showed me how good Davy Grant is, and he's got big wins coming off of Sunsao. That was a good win. So I'm leaning towards Davy Grant on this one. I'll take the underdog. Danny Roberts, Johnny Parsons. Not really a fan of this hot chocolate Danny Roberts guy. I think he's coming off 2 straight losses, one to like a 50-year-old Trinaldo, and Jack Della Maddalena just knocked him out in the first round. He had some horrible performances, especially Michelle Pereira flying knee him. And he's taking on Johnny Parsons, who's 8 wins, 3 losses. His first fight in the UFC. I mean, even fight. Literally, this fight could go either way. I'll lean towards Danny Roberts just because of the experience. I prefer experience, especially, it's your first fight in the UFC. Danny Roberts has had a few fights in the UFC, so he's definitely probably more comfortable. So I'll go with Danny Roberts, and plus it's in his hometown, England, so I think he's going to be training really hard. Now, Mark Jacasey, the Bone Crusher. I used to like watching Mark Jacasey. Now, his last fight, he lost to Michael Johnson. It wasn't, 50-50 Michael Johnson. Michael Johnson's one of those guys, he's 50-50, but he's got some good wins, and he's just, he's got like 40 pro fights experience. So, Fiziev lost to Alves. So, he's losing to pretty good guys. Joel Alvarez, though, I remember he fought, what was this, Armin Sarukian his last fight, and that split his head right open. Just a vicious cut, and that was the beginning of the end. He couldn't even see out of his eyes. And, Armin Sarukian was just landing bombs. So if you look at Joel Alvarez's record, it's actually very impressive. He's 19 wins, 3 losses. But who are the 3 losses to? Damir Ismagulov. He was like 20-0 at the time. Armin Sarukian lost to that. No shame losing to that. So his only 2 losses are against top flight competition. So I'm going to go with Joel Alvarez on this one. I think Joel Alvarez gets it done against Mark Jacasey, probably in the later rounds, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's able to get a submission because this boy's got some submissions. So I'll go with Joel Alvarez on that one, but who knows? Mark Jacasey fighting at home might be super hungry. All right, the last one I'm going to do is Brian Barberena. Bam Bam takes on Mahmoud Muradov. This is surprising. Minus 300 as a favorite. Minus 300. Brian Barberena plus 240. So Mahmoud Muradov, he lost his last fight to Tybura. Tybura, not a lot of people talk about him, but he's one of the top middleweights right now. This boy's on a roll, and not a lot of people are bringing him up. But I'm telling you, this guy, you're going to see Tybura in a title shot soon. Real soon. I think by 2024, you'll be seeing him fighting in the top 5, hopefully for a title. And, with his skill set, he might just win against, depending on who he's matched up with, because he's incredibly well-rounded. So I'm not even giving him shame losing to Tybura, but before that, he lost by RNC to Gerald Meerschaert. And that was just pathetic, man. To be honest, I'm not a fan of Gerald Meerschaert whatsoever, so I wasn't really too impressed. Now, that being said, Brian Barberena, I believe, is moving up in weight. Former welterweight moving up to middleweight. His last 2 fights looked horrible, got finished, but, one was to Gunnar Nelson, the other one was to RDA. But if you guys seen his fight with Robbie Lawler, he completely KO'd Robbie Lawler on the feet, and that was pretty impressive. Now he's moving up in weight, fighting Mahmoud Muradov. Yeah, I'm gonna stay away from this one. I don't even want to bet on this Muradov guy. Not really a fan of Muradov, and I think Brian Barberena, he's one of those guys where it just depends, man. I'll probably lean towards Mahmoud because he's younger, and the thing is, Brian Barberena not too old either, only 34, fighting at middleweight. Yeah, I'm gonna stay away from this one. But to be honest, for the odds, Brian Barberena is not a bad bet. Not a bad bet at all. I mean, Mahmoud Muradov got finished by Gerald Meerschaert. I think Brian Barberena can. If that Mahmoud shows up, Brian Barberena will win. I'll tell you that right now. He's coming off 2 straight losses. I know he's going to be hungry, but we'll see how Brian Barberena looks at middleweight. Yeah, if you guys need a place to bet this week, BetUS, promo code Iceman. Let's get it. We need to build that bankroll because on July 29th, that's probably the most stacked card of the year. One of the best cards I've seen in a while. They've stacked that whole card top to bottom. So I can't wait for that card, man. That's going to be a banger. So BetUS, promo code Iceman. Let's get that money, folks. Out.